Welcome to the For Listeners program. Welcome aboard, everybody. Thanks for checking us out this week. What up, everybody? I'm Spear, and on the mics with me this week is the Z-Man. What is up, Z?
I want to be the very best like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause. Pokemon!
Wow.
Gotta catch them all.
Oh, my God. All right. And on the other mic is the triumphant return of the mighty Ganthor. What is up, Ganthor?
Back from vacation. I already miss it.
Back from vacation.
Dude, you were gone for a long time.
Yeah, I finally learned after 17 years to take 2 weeks for vacation instead of just one.
There you go.
And then add one more day because you need a day of vacation from your vacation, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Me? How am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm doing great. I'm doing
Good.
great. Thanks for asking.
Missed you guys.
Yeah, we didn't really do anything while you were gone.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the reciprocal. We missed you too, buddy.
Yeah,
but,
we didn't really.
I just got awkward silence.
Well, we didn't really miss you because we didn't get on the mics without you.
Well, hold
Dill
on.
Hole over there is like, he was like, I'm tired, I'm busy, I can't think, I had too much bourbon.
I was drunk. That was my problem.
That's the best time to do the show.
No.
God, how many fucking shows have we done where we've been shit-faced, and that was like our best show?
No, it wasn't even like that I was drunk. It was still like the after effects of being drunk where I couldn't actually function. It was like,
Oh, we could have had a good show.
it would have been a horrible show. Trust me on this one. No, trust me. Trust me. But I missed you, Ganthor. I did.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you.
Thanks.
I didn't miss you.
There it is. All right. This week, something must be done about Pokemon Go. Is that what this fucking
Pokemon
thing
Go!
is? What is this shit?
Oh my God, it's so good.
What? All right.
Actually,
This is the thing that is it's turned into a veritable craze. There's
Yes.
no other way to describe this.
I don't know what it looks like in the suburbs, but in the cities, I was in New York City over the weekend, shortly right after it came out, and I'm in Boston now, and I've been walking through the city, and it is everywhere.
Everywhere.
It is insanity. All right, first we'll give the background. What the hell is it?
All right. This particular thing, it's an augmented reality app, and the idea is that you go to these landmarks, you go to these places out in the world, and these Pokemon are out there, and you have to try to catch them in their natural habitat.
They take the Google Map data, and they are finding points of interest. They are either parks or churches or interesting artwork. I found a Banksy when we were in New York City, not because there was any signs up in the city, but because I was on the Pokemon thing, and it's like, oh, there's a Banksy over here. And I went over there, and sure enough, it was the kid hitting the kid with the hammer, Banksy in New York City in Upper Manhattan. And that was awesome because I wouldn't have seen it otherwise, and I was able to go and find it, and that was really cool. But the craziness thing is, if you think it sucks already now trying to walk around the city with everyone on their phone doing whatever they're doing and not paying attention. Now everybody's doing the same thing, except they're putting fucking Jigglypuff on your head, then they're swiping a ball to try to catch them.
I don't understand a word of anything you just said.
So Pokemon came out 20 years ago, and it was a veritable craze then. It's a system seller. Nintendo has consistently used Pokemon games to sell their handheld systems. And the way it works is you have to try to catch them all. So there's these little pocket monsters that evolve. There's 3 stages to the monsters, if I understand it right.
Some only have 1, some have 2, but yes, usually most of them have 3.
Right, and you have to try to catch them in all 3 stages.
You don't get to choose your attacks or anything, right?
So
It's just-
the Pokemon only have one main attack, and then they have 1 special attack. At least that's my understanding of all the characters. So you only really have those 2 attacks. There's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors aspect to it. So if you know that the Pokemon that you have to fight is a water Pokemon, and you use a fire Pokemon to attack, that will do more damage, or vice versa. I guess the water will put the fire out. And there's like psychic, and there's rock, and there's flying, and there's ice, and there's all these different elemental aspects to the Pokemon. And that they actually did code that into the game too. So if you're down by water, you're more likely to find a water Pokemon. At night, you're more likely to find a spooky Pokemon. In a cold area, you're more likely to find a cold weather Pokemon.
So the fun part about the different types of Pokemon and the different places where you have to go to find them is that people are finding things other than Pokemon in the places where they're going to look for them. In order to find,
I read this.
Yeah, in order to find a water type Pokemon, a teenage girl, or a 19-year-old girl, went down to the river to go try to find herself some water Pokemon and happened to run across a dead body.
That's awesome.
So,
Wow.
yeah, so it's like, here's a dead guy in a river that she happened to come across instead of finding a Pokemon.
Well, then the other one that they said is somehow these kids knew that there was a Pokestop in this like shady area, and they ambushed people going in there to try to collect Pokemon and held them up at gunpoint.
Yeah. Pokemon Go is now one of the most downloaded apps ever. It outpaced Tinder on the Android phones with more than 2 million downloads, 3 million downloads, and it was on pace at the recording of this podcast, was on pace to out-download Twitter at 5 million downloads, just on Android alone.
Sounds like Tamagotchi.
No. It's much more crazier than that.
No, I just mean the craze.
There's got to be some financial benefit to this for Nintendo and for Niantic and the Pokemon Company, because Nintendo stock went up nearly 25%.
$7.5 billion in their stock has happened since this has come out.
It is
right?
That's exactly right. $7.5 billion to the firm's value, its highest one-day surge since 1983, which is, I think, when the original Nintendo Entertainment System came out.
So how do you catch them?
All right, so the mechanics are kind of cheesy and stupid, but it's like one of these like what do you call those, like RPG games where it's like all about the grind, right? They give you that they give you a little bit of excitement, and it just so you can like stay in the game longer, and they just one more, just catch one more, just catch one more. Every single bit of time I'm playing this game, the only reason I had to stop was not because I was done, but because the battery on my phone was going to die. And so now when you're walking around, it's not just that people are playing this game. They're playing this game, and they're connected to an external battery for the same reason.
Holy shit.
So let me tell you what my experience was today, because this is the first day that I actually went out through Boston Commons, the public parks, with a 100% full battery after work today. I was out for 2.5 hours playing the game. I walked 5.5 miles through the park. And there are in the park. The reason I chose the park is just because all the cool stuff is happening around public landmarks, right. And there's a lot of them in the commons in the park. And there's one spot in particular that I found that had 4 of these things all within a very short space. And the major landmark that was over there, in addition to the statues, is the Goodwill Hunting Bench. And so there are 4 of these Pokestops, they're called, over there, and people can put this thing on there that basically attracts more Pokemon to come to it. So now, but it helps everybody. So all 4 of these things are going blazing whatever with all these Pokemon, and it's just Pokemon popping up over left and right. And literally, there are at least 100 people standing around this topiary, just hanging out anywhere they can in that area where they can get access to all 4 of those spots at once. People walking by notice that something's weird, but not everybody actually understands what's going on, and they're all just looking around. But like people who are playing, it's obvious what's happening, and it's just ridiculous. Everyone is sitting there on their phone, swiping their finger, trying to catch the Pokemon. It's funny because some people are there doing it socially. There's like people in these groups where there's 4 of them staring like, in a circle, just looking at their phone, swiping.
So the interesting part about the Pokestops or the gyms, right? Because you can go to a gym and you can take over a gym.
How do you take over a gym? What do you do?
You battle your Pokemon against other Pokemon.
Right.
Well, how does the battle work?
So there's the way I have yet to win. I've only won one accidentally, but you can tap the screen and that will force an attack. You can swipe at the screen, which will cause your character to dodge an attack. And you can hold the screen, which will cause your character to use a special move. But you're not fighting against another Pokemon in real time. You're fighting against a Pokemon that was left at the gym, and the AI is actually battling for you.
So here's the fun part. Here's the fun part about that. There's a guy his family is living in an old converted church, but because they're still using the data from the previous game, I guess they haven't realized that this isn't a church anymore. This is now a residence. Now people are walking up to this house, pulling up in front of it, parking in front of the driveway because it's been marked as a Pokemon gym. And this guy is just like, okay, here's I've just been marked as a gym. Let's see how this works. The people are so fanatical while playing this game that the owner of the gym wanted to take a picture with the guy who was living in the house.
Well, the other crazy thing is like there's places like that's one of them, but there's also like the Holocaust Museum in New York City.
Yep.
Is like, can you please take us off? This is really disrespectful, and people are taking pictures of like this Pokemon that has smoke coming out of them that looks like it's like a death chamber at a Holocaust museum.
Yep.
And so, I walked about 5.5 miles today. I drained my battery 100%, and I caught a bunch of Pokemon, and I'm sore. And that's one of the other things that people are saying, hey, my legs are sore.
Yeah, it's one of the unintended consequences of this is getting people to play, like getting people who play video games to actually get up and get exercise. And what you see now is on Twitter, there's a whole bunch of people saying my legs are sore from too much Pokemon. My feet and legs are sore from Pokemon Go today. I got an hour of sleep, but I took over a gym and gained 5 levels, so it was pretty good.
My favorite thing has been the okay. So one of the cool things you can do is once a Pokemon pops up, you can flip it to camera mode, and in camera mode you can see this Pokemon interacting in the real world, and it actually is able to recognize what are objects in the world and try to sit on those kind of objects, or knows where the ground is so that it can make it look like it's actually on the ground and popping up, and it'll attack and jump and do things like that.
Get the fuck out of here.
And so Minion and I were walking through New York City through Central Park this weekend, and I took a fun assortment of pictures of her of doing random stuff of her, like Jigglypuff on her butt, and then Charizard sitting on her shoulder, and things like that. And then there's another picture where I'm sitting here trying to take a picture of her trying to interact with something that's not there. So I show her where it is or what it looks like, so she knows what to do. And she's like trying to put her arms out to hug it and trying to or catch it. And then there's another one where she's kicking it. And there's this awesome picture of her trying to kick this giant purple pom-pom. And there's this woman walking by looking at her trying to figure out what the fuck she's trying to do.
Dude.
And it was amazing. It was so priceless. But with that comes, of course, people doing inappropriate things with the Pokemon and that is where it gets amazing. There's a Pokemon called a Diglett. It is a burrowing Pokemon that looks like a dick. Essentially, it is a brown. It kind of looks like a brown tombstone with a nose on it, and then like it kind of has like animation around it that looks like it's coming out of a burrow. So it came out of tunneled out of a burrow. It just looks like a brown dick. And so people are overlaying this on their dicks, and that's hilarious. Or they're kind of like looking in their pants, and this thing's kind of popping up to say hello.
Oh my god!
And then there's another one called a cloister. Now I posted it in front of a pond because that's where I found it, but I think it'd be fairly obvious what this would be.
Yeah, that
very humorous to post.
That looks like a spiky purple vagina.
Have you had sex with that spear?
I'd hit that, yeah.
And when it actually attacks, it closes, and that little horn looks just like a clit.
I'd hit that,
but not an orange chick.
I'd hit. If you put that on an orange chick, I'd hit it for sure.
Didn't we do a show where we were like, "What should Nintendo do?" And we were like, "They should go mobile."
Yep. Yeah, we did.
We were thinking maybe they should go mobile. Like, hey, start releasing, Mario games and Zelda games for mobile.
No,
phones.
this is exactly what I was thinking.
This is what you're thinking?
Yeah.
You're fucking genius. Ganthor's a fucking genius.
Ganthor's a goddamn genius. Yeah, wholeheartedly agree. It says here that Pokemon Go is estimated to on the day of release, Pokemon Go is estimated to have made anywhere between $4 and $5 million.
They had a big rollout issue. I don't know if they just didn't expect people to be this crazed about it, but the servers were shit for the first couple of days. Like it would bounce you out every 5 minutes or so, and you'd have to reload. The servers have gotten much better. Today it crashed on me like 3 or 4 times, but it wasn't nearly as bad as it was on release day, and the coverage has been much better.
Is this thing available in Japan yet?
Oh, I can't imagine it is. I don't know.
Because if it is, I mean, Japan would bring down the internet. I mean,
yeah.
Well, this thing would bring down Japan.
Well, so that's been the funny jokes now. Is like is this like ISIS's like way of getting to the U.S. to like not give a fuck about everything and have the economy go to shit? My cousin posted today that he's going to get fired because there's a Pokemon gym in range of the toilet at his office, and he's gonna be on the shitter all the whole time. He's gonna lose his job.
That's funny.
From my office, oh my god, dude! From my old office, there was like 3 or 4 things I could probably hit from my office. My office is a gym.
Get the fuck out of here.
Or essentially, it's next to the gym. It's because the gym is the square, and my office was in the square. So luckily, I'm not there. From my office now, I can get to one Pokestop, and that's not enough to make me want to play with this during the day. So so this is a picture of what it actually looks like in the game.
What the fuck is all of that?
Yeah.
So those are Pokestops. The ones that have the round ones, the bottom two, means that those are close enough to me so I can actually interact with them. The two above them are the ones that if I walk closer to, I can interact with them. And so the thing that looks like confetti is this thing that they have on there. I think it's called like attract or incense or something like that, in which somebody has applied this object to the Pokestop that will attract more Pokemon to come, and all the people in that area can take advantage of it.
So get this, there was a pizza place that what'd you call the confetti?
It's called like incense or something. It's not called incense. Give me let me a second. I'll look it up.
So I don't care. The pizza joint, put the incense down for their pizza joint, and then people flocked to the pizza joint.
That makes sense. It's called a lure module. Excuse me.
Well, who gives a shit? But they that's what they did. They put down this lure incense, whatever the fuck.
So it's somebody's job in that office to keep putting down the lure module so that people would come there and hang out in their pizza place and collect Pokemon.
Yes, and eat pizza.
Fucking genius.
And eat pizza. How fucking genius is that? The business went up by like a factor of 20.
That's amazing. And so the module, that lure module, is something that you can buy or you can find it. So my guess is that they don't, they're just going to go and keep buying it.
Yeah,
because
sure.
It increases business.
Yeah, sure. It's a small advertising expense.
So Speary, that whole "I don't care" comment, that's going to be my favorite lines for our next anniversary episode.
So the other crazy thing is that in order to play the game, you have to either create an account or sign in with your Google account.
Right.
And I don't know if you heard the news on this one, but essentially, whoever wrote it for the iOS app, when they gave the permission to Google, they gave it permission for everything in Google. So with your login, they got access not only to your name and your email address, but they have full access to your entire inbox.
Yep.
Including contacts and your actual content of your email.
They just released an update that fixed that.
Right. They claim that was done unintentional, and then both Apple and the company Niantic has gone in and said that, we didn't intend to do that. It was an accident, and that all that data is safe, and nobody accessed any of that data. Whether or not that's true or not, I don't know.
All right. So this is great. Horrible problems on day 1, 2, and 3 with getting the app to even work right. Privacy concerns on the iOS thing. People getting robbed while playing. People losing sleep. People
getting exercise.
People getting exercise. Here's a guy in Iraq who's battling ISIS while he's capturing Pokemon. Here's the poor schlep who lives in a converted church, has people all over his front lawn trying to catch them all. Here's the little girl, or here's the teenage girl who found a dead body in the river. What the fuck, dude? Something must be done about this. It's got to stop. This is going to get worse before it gets better.
It'll burn out, dude.
You think so? You think this is just one of those passing fads? It's hot for like the summer
it's like
and then goes away?
Radioactive energy, dude. The more radioactive it is, the shorter the half-life.
So in my opinion of this, just playing it for whatever the 2-3 days I've been playing it, I agree. I mean, I don't see this lasting because it's not fun, right? You're doing it because you feel like you should do it, and you get that little reward of, oh, okay, you got that thing. Okay, you got that thing. But at some point, it's going to get to the point where I'm not going to catch them all because you got to travel to different geographical locations. If they bring in trading, that might help it. But at some point, I'm just going to get tired of catching the same old creatures over and over and over again. And trying to take over a gym where there's going to be so many more people who are more powerful than me that I'm not going to be able to compete.
That's why
it's exciting now, because it's still early enough that like I can still be cool in this game. But at some point, it's just going to either people are going to pay more money or people are going to have nothing to do all day, and they'll be able to just kind of grind at it all day, and it's just going to be unfun for everybody else, and they'll just stop playing.
But you're the completionist. Right? I mean,
I am the completionist, and that's why I'm going to stop it, because there's no way I can complete this.
I see. Ganthor, does this sound like something you would do?
Nope.
You're not even gonna try it
No, I'm not going to try it.
because you won't be able to resist.
No, because I know the mechanism, and I'll see the mechanism, and then my brain will be like, that's enough of that. Because I played Pocket Mortys for a while, which is a similar type of game. You wander around, you try and capture Mortys and add them to your collection and all that stuff. And it's just the same mechanic. I click a button, what I want to do, this attack or that attack or the other attack and all this stuff. And it's just not interested.
But my problem is, when do you have the time to do this?
Before and after work is what I've been doing.
Oh my God.
No, I got too much.
You got kids.
Books to read, kids to play with, projects to do, TV to watch, games to play.
But I'm doing this on my commute in, so that's at least not as bad, right? And it's causing me to want to walk more than just take the T. So that's also not a bad thing.
Nope, that's a good thing. If it gets people up and out and it's encouraging them to get some steps, then all right.
Yeah, but again, I spent an extra 2 hours today fucking around with it. I was actually just curious to see what was going on. It's going to get worse. I can only imagine this is going to get worse. More people are getting on it. It's going to get into some crazy shit. And there's been a bunch of posts out there that there's been accidents and all this other crazy stuff of people playing this while they're driving.
The accident one was debunked.
I'm hoping that
I
that was
looked
fake.
that one
I know
up,
that wasn't real. But I'm hoping that the Pokemon company, they do put something in here. I don't think you should be able to play this game if you're driving. Got to be a throttle they got to put on here where it should be just like in your like a car sensor, like your what's that? The GPS in your car won't let you start typing shit if your car's in motion.
Yeah.
They got to put something in there because it's going to happen. It's going to fuck some shit up, and it's going to be some stupid people doing it. Now, as a passenger, it's kind of cool that you can play, but like I don't know. I think it kind of defeats the point of the game if you're playing it in a car.
You can't fix stupid. I mean, people are going to do stupid things with this game. The problem is that you're holding it up in front of your face. I mean, it's going to be somebody tripping over something into somebody else, or stepping in a pothole or something and twisting an ankle or breaking an ankle or something. It's going to be those kinds of things.
Right. So Minion was super pissed at me because we were in a hurry and I'm fucking around playing with this game, and she's like, we gotta go. And I'm like, half paying attention, and I'm trying to swipe and catch shit. So it's gonna be the death of a lot of relationships too, of people trying to fuck around and do shit like that, as well as probably a way for a lot of nerds to meet each other because they're gonna go outside. So that's I guess there's pluses and minuses and whatever.
You know what I find amazing about this though is it's like Pokemon's a game that's geared towards like kids. Right, like kids play Pokemon, yet it's adults that are out there doing this fanatically.
I think the target demographic is going to be these people who are brought up on the Pokemon over the last 20 years, playing it on the Game Boy and playing it on the other platforms.
Yep.
I don't know how much. I didn't see any kids out there, but of course, again, I'm in the city, so we don't see too many kids normally in the city. So most of the people we saw were all college age people.
No, you're right. I mean, these are people that grew up with Pokemon, so now it's part of their thing, and now they can go out into the world. And they have disposable income, right? So they can do all the microtransactions or whatever.
Right, and they actually have good phones with phone plans and data plans that you don't need a Wi-Fi, because this game doesn't work on. It's not going to work if you're trying to connect to Wi-Fi.
It doesn't work on Wi-Fi?
Well, it's going to work, but I mean the whole point of it, you're moving. So unless you have a Wi-Fi net that's going to connect you across large spaces, if you have a Wi-Fi only connection, like you got an iPhone Touch or something like that, it's going to be useless. It's not going to be as much fun.
I don't know. I'm out. I'm not doing this shit. I got other ththings to do. I mean,
does your kid want to do it?
I don't even want to tell him about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell him about it.
I don't even want to tell him about it. Otherwise, he's
going to learn. Yeah, and it's good that they're doing it is right now. It's in the summertime, but once this comes into school season, how fucking crazy is going to be when kids are playing this in the middle of a class and stuff.
Oh no! Imagine it's
going to get banned if you're caught playing Pokemon Go in the school. You're gonna lose your phone.
Oh shit! Yeah, I mean, imagine if there's like a Pokemon like gym around like a school or something.
Right? How funny is it going to be when you put a cloister on your face of your teacher? Fucking hilarious!
That's gonna be fucking hilarious. Big purple vagina right there on the face of your teacher. What did we learn? What did we learn about Pokemon Go, Z-Man?
It's a fad, and it's a fad that's probably going to save Nintendo from obscurity.
That is likely true. Ganthor.
Nintendo owes me money for suggesting that they should get into mobile.
They listened to the show, they figured it out, and they got on it, and now it's a huge thing. What did I learn? I learned that I don't give a shit about whatever that incense lure thing was, and I learned that you can sell a fuck of a lot of pizza. Just by
fuck of a lot of pizza.
Fuck of a lot of pizza. just by putting some incense or some lure down. So if you want to sell a fuck of a lot of pizza, why don't you go ahead and let us know on the Facebook page, facebook.com/4listeners or 4listeners.com. You can check out the show on Stitcher Radio, on iTunes, and on Google Play. Just search for 4Listeners. We'll pop right on up, and you can tweet at us on the Twitters at 4Listeners. We thank you for checking us out this week, and we hope that you will check us out again next week. Thanks a bunch, everybody. Right, and dude, I know you're excited about Pokemon, but you got to slow down. Because
slow down.
Pokemon! You got to slow down, bro. Pokemon!
Go ahead. Go.
Give me a second, guys. I'll be right back.
Yep.
He's rubbing one out.
I guess so.
Didn't take long at all.
He's like, oh, purple fucking clit thing, disembodied vagina.
Yeah.